The strong son. Once upon a time, there was a cheerful woman named Victoria who had a son called Matty. Matty was his mother's only child and was very obedient. Since they lived in a rural area, Matty would fetch firewood and water from distant places for her. Their surroundings were beautiful, a place filled with fresh air and abundant wildlife, pleasing to the eye. One day, while gathering firewood in the jungle, Matty discovered lion cubs left alone. He brought them home secretly, and over time, he raised them as his own. No one knew about the lions except his mother. Though the cubs grew fierce, Matty played with them fearlessly, and they never harmed him. Others, however, dared not go near them. And also he has amazing white horse, which treat like the lions. He ride many times at the village. Often, Matty spent his days confined to their home to hide the lions, but at night, he would sneak out to train and play with them. The lions learned his signs and sounds, and their roars became familiar to him. Though he did these things, no one could stop him. Meanwhile, Toya, Victoria's close friend, had 7 sons, all unruly and disobedient. They fought amongst themselves and were shunned by the community, which saddened their mother deeply. Toya often confided in Victoria about her struggles, and Victoria would listen patiently. The two women spent much time together, going to the market, walking side by side. Toya admired Matty and even wished God would give her a son like him. One day, as they laughed and chatted, Toya proposed an idea: "What if I give you 4 of my sons? In return, you must let Matty die. If one son dies, you'll still have 3 left. If another dies, 2 remain, asterisk." At first, Victoria laughed it off, thinking Toya was joking. But when she realized her friend was serious, she fumed with anger, left the house, and stormed away. As time passed, however, Toya began to wonder, was I right after all? For a long time, Victoria dwelled alone on Toya's words, torn by grief and betrayal. One day, Toya returned, now fully committed to her cruel plan. She instructed Victoria, "Let Matty go to the wilderness with my sons to fetch firewood." Together, Victoria, though hesitant, obeyed Toya's pressure. She told Matty, "My son, go with your brothers and bring back wood." Matty, ever dutiful, replied, "I gathered 3 days ago, mother." But Victoria, heart heavy, only whispered, "Go, and stay silent." Meanwhile, Toya gathered her 7 sons and hissed, "When Matty goes to the wilderness with you, kill him there." The brothers agreed coldly, "As you command." Deep in the desert, where no human treads, the brothers began cutting wood. Then, the elders proposed a game: "Before we leave, let's play tie and release." Matty, trusting, agreed. The rules were simple: 1 person is bound, then freed. But when Matty's turn came, the brothers tightened the ropes viciously, ignoring his pleas. "Wait, you're hurting me." They laughed, "Scream all you want, no one hears you here." Then, they revealed the truth: "Our mother traded 4 of us for your death. Now, you'll die alone." Matty trembled. "Why would my mother allow this? Save me." As Matty struggled against the ropes, he remembered the secret signal he had taught his lions. With all his strength, he gave 3 distinct cries in the rhythm they knew, first calling out, a short, sharp call. The lions lifted their heads, ears twitching. Second, calling out, a drawn-out howl. Their muscles tensed, they smelled his fear. Third, calling out, a piercing scream. Like a storm unleashed, they charged, golden fire blazing. The brothers raised their knives, but too late. The lions were already upon them, fangs bared at their throats. The lions tore into the 7 brothers, then freed Matty from the ropes. Collapsing to his knees, Matty wept, "How could my mother abandon me like this?" After this, Matty decided he must live alone. At night, without seeing his mother, he entered the house, took his clothes and his horse, and left for an unknown land. The lions also migrated with him. As he traveled, they hunted for him and brought him food to eat. Mati grew stronger in body and spirit, and soon began to provide for himself. The city where Mati settled was a royal capital, but to avoid being recognized, he built a hidden hut in a forested area where wild animals roamed. No one disturbed him. Now, he had become a tall, robust, fearless warrior. The lions went where he went and stayed where he stayed. No one dared to touch him, they regarded him like their own father. One day, while living in the city, he saw enemies approaching to attack. Unable to stay silent, he took his lions and joined the battle. The city's army emerged victorious and rejoiced, but no one knew how they had won. Mati and his lions returned home unnoticed. However, the king's daughter had seen him entering, fighting, and battling. She was amazed by him and grew to admire him. On another day, when different enemies came to raid the city, he and his lions intercepted them before they could enter. The king was astonished, wondering, who is this man who acts so bravely? But no one knew. Meanwhile, as this unfolded, the princess saw him as he returned to his home. One day, Mati went to the city to beg for food. To avoid being recognized, he wore tattered clothes as he begged. Boldly, he went to the palace gates to ask for alms. At that very moment, the princess happened to be choosing a suitor for marriage. The palace servants gave Mati some food and left. As Mati finished eating and prepared to leave, he heard some commotion and entered the palace hall. When he entered, the princess immediately recognized him. Having long admired him, she saw this as her chance to act. When the time came for her to choose a husband, the princess sat in the center holding a lemon, surrounded by her suitors. The tradition was that she would throw the lemon to her chosen one. Mati stood watching by the door when suddenly, the princess threw the lemon straight to him. Everyone was shocked, especially her father the king. Mati too was stunned, now holding the lemon in his hand. The king ordered the selection to be repeated, but again the princess threw the lemon to Mati. The king became angry. "Why would you choose a beggar?" he demanded. The princess, who knew Mati's true identity, remained silent. Hearing the king's words, Mati said, "I will return shortly," and left for his home. A short while later, Mati returned to the palace dressed in his golden warrior's armor, riding his horse and accompanied by his lions. Everyone was astonished and demanded to know who he was. Before he could speak, the princess told them all about his heroic deeds. Her father was overjoyed and immediately arranged their marriage. They made Mati the guardian and protector of the city. From that day on, Mati lived in peace and prosperity, and the city became renowned throughout the land.